And then we are connecting. Okay. Got it. Got it. All right. I think we're good to go.
Woohoo.
All right, everybody. Amalia and Madelaine coming to you with the cosmic chat for the start of eclipse season, and holy guacamole. It's intense. I mean, I feel like that's one of the key words that I'm feeling, and that a number of other people that I've spoken with about this moon energy is feeling. You know, it's so interesting. I've been reading about this eclipse being hybrid. It's a hybrid eclipse, meaning that we've got some of the closing out of the old Taurus Scorpio nodal energy, and we're getting a taste of the Aries Libra nodal energy, because we have this second new moon in Aries, which is so interesting to me. I've noticed this over the years, and I'm embarrassed to say, I always thought that it was a mistake that somebody made on the websites that I follow, that it was like, no, there can't be two new moons, but in the same sign. But it's just like, I think it's just a few hours off. Within a few hours, I think in my notes here, I wrote down, the new moon is occurring at 12:12 a.m. on April 20th on the East Coast, and it then in Aries, so that's at 29 degrees Aries, and then the moon moves into Taurus at 4:13 a.m. So there's a 4-hour time difference between that Aries energy and that Taurus energy. So close, so close. So we're going to be feeling a little bit and getting a little bit of a taste of what's to come as the nodes shift from the Taurus Scorpio that we've been feeling to the Aries Libra. And so, I was discussing this with a friend this morning. Taurus and Scorpio, we've had this earth water energy, and we're going into fire air energy. And when we are thinking about what we're feeling, what we're experiencing as humans in this period of time, I'm trying to find exactly how I want to say this. We have a shift of the focus of, Taurus is earthly, Taurus and physical. And then we also have Scorpio, which is like deep, it's emotional, it can be a bit chaotic. And we're moving out of that into a focus on self, harmonious relationships, a little bit more thoughtful oriented. But the self is not a selfish self, it's a soul self. It's the more we line up with our soul within ourselves, the more we have this ripple effect out into the world. It's a benefit for all. So it's a little bit, the way I interpret it, a little bit of a shift of a selfishness to a soulfulness. And I mean, that's, my whole jam when it comes to this work. So, all right, Madelaine, are you, I noticed do you want to come in on your phone?
Yeah, can you hear? I just want to test first right now. Can you hear me on I'm going to switch over to my phone right now.
Okay. All right. So hang with us, everybody. We're going to do a little shifteroo here for Madelaine.
Got it. So I just want to know if you can hear me.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
All right. Are you going to, do you want to exit out of the laptop, or because you've got your phone?
No, I keep the laptop going. This is how I do my sessions actually, and I do sound through my phone. That way, if the vision freezes, you still hear my voice. So you're still getting my verbal. Okay.
Can you, because this looks a little weird on YouTube.
Oh yes, let me shut the video off on there. Yeah. That's a good point. That does help. And video. Okay, good. Perfect. Okay. Good.
All right. So, okay. So this distracted me. I got to pull myself back in.
Yeah. You were saying.
Yeah, so basically it's just a shift. It's a shift within the collective. That is when you focus on your soul self, not this more material self. It's the bigger picture of it all. What you came here to do, your soulful life, your soulful mission. And that's has so much to do with my work and the relationship we have with others, Libra, the relationship we have with ourselves, Aries. It's that balancing of the two, Libra, taking action, starting new, Aries. You know, there's a lot of this energy that's really beginning to rise, to show up for us. But we've got to close out, finish out, and complete what we were working on before, which is the Taurus Scorpio. There was so much. I have like pages of notes that I wanted to share about energy. Yeah, one big piece of it is the intensity of this eclipse season. And I also wanted to remind people to think back to this time last April, May, during the last time we were in eclipse season. What was going on? We're ending something here. We have the moon at 29 degrees in Aries. There's a completion. Even though it's a new moon, there's a completion that is happening. So what was going on during that time last year? Reflect on that, maybe take some notes and see how far you've come since then, and maybe what you need to let go of, what aspects of your life need to shift and change. All right, I'm going to stop talking now because I have a lot more that I would love to say, but we'll let that organically unfold over the course of the next hour and a half that we're together. So Madelaine, did you want to share the screen, or do you want to just talk?
Yep. Okay. Let's go ahead and have everybody see the visuals. I think you have to enable me.
Yep, I'm giving you permission. Hold on one second.
Okay.
Right. There we go.
Let's give it a host disabled participant screen sharing. You got to do it on the other person, I think. It's not letting me share for some reason.
Okay.
It says host disabled participant. Yeah, let's try again.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, got it.
All permissions. I got nothing left.
Alrighty. Okie dokie. There we go. Look at that big old square to Pluto right there. Do you see that? That, I think, is the intensity that most people are feeling. This is why this is going to be an eclipse of profound changes. You're right, 29th degree. We had that earlier lunation, the new moon at 1 degree Aries at the beginning of the month, or last new moon, let's put it that way. And so what we're really looking at is this. So we've got the new beginnings began at that new moon, seeded, and then now we're coming up to ending something here, so that this now becomes the new way. So we're pulling away from something that is no longer part of the new future for our lives. And there's usually eclipses. The reason they happen is because usually you're unwilling. These are the inevitable being, anyway, the inevitable happening, the buildup of an inevitable suddenly arrives. So it's forced on us. It's not our choice, because our will, usually our will is choosing a lack of higher vision for ourselves. And so the eclipses come along and say, sorry, you're close, but really your soul, your higher self, or the universe has a higher vision for you, a better direction, something more. It's going to be for your highest good to let go of whatever that is. And that the moon and the sun squaring Pluto right after the eclipse, it's interesting that it happens after the eclipse. So it's almost like the eclipse brings something that enables you to feel even better about letting something go. So it's all kind of mixed in. And it is a very intense energy. The 29th anaretic degree usually is something significant ending. I mean, it usually involves a crisis to let go of it. And it can be painful. It can be sad, grief. There could be passings, deaths, and that's part of life, but that brings a lot of changes, and it brings pain, but it's for the new life. It's for the new growth, the new destiny that's unfolding. And, you know, a whole bunch of planets are going to be in Taurus afterwards. We're getting a whole stellium of Taurus planets, so many planets going into Taurus, which is going to be crazy because Taurus is all about creating the grounding, the new foundations. It's the second house in astrology. So it's kind of like the house of materialization, the house of possessions and the arts. So we're really looking at the changes and then grounding the new reality. I mean, really, we're looking at a timeline shift. We're looking at a whole shift in era here. We're looking at a whole shift in energies. You know, everybody I know pretty much is letting go of some kind of major karmic attachment of some sort. And these are big karmic attachments. These are things that you've held on to for 30 years or so. I mean, just things that have been an illusionary source of security, because Pluto is always going to take from our hands that which we thought is our survival. Pluto is about death and rebirth so that we grow and we release the things that are holding us back from growing, which is things that we think are our survival. And we are our souls, or our higher selves, or the universe, as it were, whatever you believe, or God knows what's best for us. And it's time to grow and shed. That's what the death card is in tarot, which is Pluto, and shed the old skin, because we're bigger now. Something's bigger about us. Something is better. We're more, we've all been through a lot of karmic clearing with the Pluto in Capricorn, and it is going to tilt back into Capricorn again, just to give us all a little testies to see if we've grown up around this. We've really let go. We've really trusted the universe or our own selves. You know, we believe in our own selves better now.
Madelaine, can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
So you were talking about the letting go. So I feel like there are going to be people out there watching who are thinking, okay, letting go of what? Do I have to let go of people? Do I have to let go of beliefs? Am I letting go of thoughts? Am I letting go of things? What am I letting go of?
You're letting go of something that you thought was your survival. You thought you needed, you thought was going to keep you afloat. You thought was your sense of security. Sometimes, like for instance, my uncle just lost his wife, and, you know, it's sad. It is sad, but on some level, he's really buoyant now, and he's sort of risen above energetically, because sometimes the person, you love them very much, but they might be very sick and holding you back on some level, you know. So there's
it could be, I'm sorry. So it could be a person, but it could also be a belief, and it could also be something. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Could be a job. It could be a belief system, like you if it's in your ninth and your third house, you're really letting go of a rigid opinion about something. If it's in your ninth house, that's really rattling your life. Let's say you don't believe in flat earth, and then all of a sudden you become a flat earther. I'm kidding. I'm just saying it could be pretty extreme shifts, because we're talking about profound things that have been we have been profoundly, because Pluto is about the soul. This is the profound shift that we're all here to have. This is why some people think this is the end of the world. I guess some people are sort of can go a little dooms on it. I don't at all. I see this as the beginning of the new earth, the beginning of the new world that we're here to lead. And we had to clear a lot of karma and lower density energies to be prepared for this point. Right. So we're looking, in my opinion, especially with all the planets in Taurus afterwards, we're seeding a new earth. Yeah. Everybody's going to start their new communities that people are buying land and starting communities and separating themselves from certain, maybe the matrix on some level, and becoming more natural. Taurus is very natural. It's about gardening. It's about earth building. People might start building their new houses, or but so something powerful has to be let go of, because it's something you held on to because you didn't believe in the new changes that are occurring. You couldn't believe in it. Your mind was limited. This is an eclipse ruled by Mars. Mars is all about the mind. It's about the head. It's about the mind versus the intuitive. And so this eclipse is going to be, where did our mind get in the way of the intuitive? And the intuitive is going to be, the Taurus energy is very intuitive, is going to be eclipsed. The mind is going to eclipse to the intuition. So in other words, we're all waking up to an ego shattering. Sam Jeppy, he's one of my teachers. He talks about, he's Vedic astrologer. He talks about this is a time to leave your ego behind. And the ego really means how we feel we have to control something, or what our mind thinks is our salvation, or what we think is our security, or what we think it's supposed to be. But the world is changing in a way that we can't even imagine. We can't, it's new, it's new. Our mind is incapable of seeing it. We get visions. This is a good time to receive visions. Get out of the headspace, go intuitive, allow the visions come in that guide you to your new earth, because the visions are higher than the mind. If you can access your higher mind, that's what we're talking about, access the higher mind. But this eclipse is ending the lower mind, which is, when I say ending the lower mind, it's ending lower mind restricted ways of existing, being, beliefs. Well, we'll go through all the 12 houses and we'll talk about it all, but it can be in your relationship house. It can be, if it's in your 8th house, you're letting go of joint resources with a relationship. Or some other form of alimony, you're letting that go because you're trusting your own 2 feet now, because there is something that you're going to do now that is better for you in the long run. You're going to ground a better reality, a better foundation that is much more secure. Everything going into Taurus afterwards literally means creating long-term foundations that are abundant and materially shall we say, because the second house, if you have, the second house is things that make us money. It can be your own talent. It can be a resource that you possess, but it's how we can, it's the house of possessions that create abundance, that creates more, that grows. So we're seeding these new abundant realities, very abundant times. I wouldn't listen to anybody that, I mean, I could be wrong, but I think we're seeding a very new abundant world, a very abundant world. And we're really coming out of that karma, which was holding us back from abundance because we didn't trust the universe in our relationship with the universe to materialize.
I agree with you, Madelaine. And it feels to me too, like the energy that's at play now is available to us all if you choose to play in that space, to take the actions that lead you towards that future. And there are people that are watching this are likely clued in and interested and ready to take that leap, to take that step. Those who aren't really as in tune, it doesn't mean they can't. It's just that may not be their destiny at this moment in time. So I know there's a number of people that I work with that they're married to people who are sort of on board, sort of not. And there's this sense of like, okay, we want to do this together. We want to rise together. We want to have this abundance and be in this energy with our people, you know, with our significant others, with our families, with our friends, the people that we love and care about. And
your soul tribe.
Yeah, exactly. And your soul family shows up. I recorded something about this just recently about how your soul family shows up in the most unexpected of ways. I'm actually having a soul family weekend this weekend with a couple of soul sisters who we're all connected in this really beautiful way. And because we opened ourselves up to the possibilities, because we were saying yes to ourselves and yes to the possibility of what we can create. And I think that's one piece of this for people to maybe take away from this, is that you can create this for yourself. If you go into the stories of like, well, I can't because of this, and yeah, you could say that, but those are the pieces right there to look at, because those are the beliefs that are likely the things that are ready to be let go of. The yeah, buts.
Yeah. I mean, in this kind of an eclipse though, I think what you're saying is that like some people are going to feel it stronger than other people for sure. Because if you have planets that are directly aspecting, everybody should pull their charts up and see what they have at the high degrees of any sign, because or very low degrees up to 3 degrees, you're going to be impacted by this. But honestly, I think everybody is. I think there's going to be global shifts and changes that we're going to see in the collective, in the news. But everybody is going to shift there is going to be a profound shift and change. If it's not directly on you, it'll be on someone you know in the world around you, which then impacts you as well. But what some people, I think personally, I think everyone's going to feel this in a big way. I think everybody's minds are going to change. I know that sounds really simplistic, or like it's hard to believe, but we really do grow collectively. We really do. If you think about where the mass consciousness was 20 years ago, it's so different from where it is today. And I think that the people that are slightly, I want to say, like you were saying, their husbands are skeptical and don't believe in all of this. I think you're going to see people believing in it. I think you're going to see more and more men opening up to this. Aries is the male energy. It is about the ego. This eclipse, I'm telling you, has a lot to do with the ego, because it's the ego that creates fear in us. It's the ego that limits us. It's the ego that makes choices that are not for our highest good, that are karmic based. So the ego is not bad. It is not a enemy. The ego is supposed to align with the intuitive knowing. So if we've made ego choices that are not in line with our heart, then I think you're going to get rattled. I think no matter who you are, if you've made out of alignment choices, this is the time where they get rattled from the grip of your palms. It's like, what did I call it? Each eclipse does this, pulls your grip off of something. Then it's like, boom, you got to let it go. So,
well, do you want to jump into the signs and share what's happening?
Yeah. Let's do it. Yeah, there's, more will come up as we go. But just quickly, that image showed everybody the square. And we have those sextiles. One thing I'm just going to quickly show everybody, just because I didn't talk about the sextiles, because the important thing that's clear in this eclipse is that some things are going to be knocked off the shelf, like done, boom. And then these sextiles indicate the nodes sextiling Saturn, and then Mars sextiling Mercury. There's a lot of everybody's charts that I'm looking at, and I'm seeing big impacts on the eclipses and big changes coming. Then there's all these trines and sextiles, which means another door really opens up, and there is facility and ease and flow through the right door, through the new changes that are opening up for everybody. They're going to be supported. The universe is going to support you taking that other risk. Okay, hope that was clear.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and do all the houses. Well, of course, starting with Aries, get those cards ready. Get those flower cards out, because they're going to save everybody.
Yep.
They're going to have the remedy, as it were. So Aries, of course, you're going to have a total and utter ego shatter. I just can't even. Obviously, the higher the degree you have Aries in your chart, the more you're going to let go of mental control of what you think everything's supposed to be. I honestly think this is earth shattering for Aries. I think you're going to let go of because Aries are strong. They're very high-willed. They're very self-willed. And I don't mean that in a negative thing. There's a reason divine creates Aries like that. That's a good thing. We need that in the world. We need strong warrior type initiators, but they got to align that energy to understand your Mars energy. To understand the Mars energy is to align it with the heart. And so Aries, if you've been out of alignment with your choices and they haven't been in your intuitive highest good, and you've made them from an ego-based place, which can simply mean, this is what I think it should be. It doesn't just mean, oh, I'm a really great big person and whatever. That's what we think ego means. But it just means I have to let go of my idea of what it is and stop trying to control it. Whatever you're trying to control is going to show you can't control it. The universe is going to let it. Your higher self and the universe have a better plan. So I think Aries are going to have major mind openings. I think they're going to wake up. And when I mean wake up, I mean open their minds, because a lot of Aries are very sure about what they think. And maybe they ought to open up their minds, because the world is always adjusting and changing. Mercury is thinking thoughts, is a mutable energy. It means we need to stay mutable with our opinions, because it's adaptable, because the earth changes, things change. So the more adaptable you are, the better. So Aries are going to start adapting more. And they're going to grow up. Aries is the immature Aries energy. So slightly immature energy because it's the first sign of the zodiac. So you always expect a little immaturity, but it's not a bad thing. It's a child energy, spontaneous thing. It's great. But the thing is that there is going to be a maturation for Aries where they start to see a more mature vision of the energy of Mars, which is to align it more with a purpose and a cause that is true to the heart.
I love that. I totally dig that. And I feel like the flower card supports what you were saying as well, because we have the papaya flower. Let me see if I can get this so you can see it a little bit.
I
The
love
papaya
that color.
flower,
Solar plexus, yeah.
Yes, it's beautiful. And this activates receptivity. Gentle is powerful. And I think that goes in alignment or lines up with what you were saying about the energy of Aries being, they're that go-getter type, but from the heart, instead of this really like forward movement, power, fire, charge ahead energy, which is great. I mean, you need some of that too, but finding that way to balance that out and finding that sometimes that gentle approach, that tuning into your heart and really knowing what from a heart space, what action to take is equally powerful, just in a different version.
I like that card for Aries. I love that.
And as a reminder for folks too, with these flower cards, you can literally just take a screenshot of this and tune into this flower, or take a mental snapshot and remember the flower and just ask for further guidance from the flower itself. Or you can
that picture to me is medicine, just looking at it. I think art is medicine. So I think color therapy and all that is medicine. So that image to me is a beautiful energy medicine for Aries.
Yes, I agree with you, Madelaine. That's so true. Thank you for sharing that. And know that you can also go onto the Lotus Way website, LOTUSWEI. If you use Amalia, my name, AMALIA, in all caps, you'll get 10% off any of the elixirs. And I don't get anything for this other than the joy of sharing it with you, because they're near and dear to my heart and have made a real huge impact. So just a way you can support yourself physically, energetically as well during this really interesting period of time.
It's a volatile, shaky, unstable, uncertain energy.
So any support is good support.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So
Taurus, you guys Aries in your 12th house. So we are, again, this is a profound ending. I know a Taurus who's retiring right on this eclipse. They're retiring. Something profound, very big is ending your life. And then you're going to have almost all the planets in your house. Jupiter's going to move into Taurus, I think June. I should have looked at these dates before. But there's a stellium of Taurus planets coming in. So you're being prepared for that. The reason you have 12th house eclipses is because, so also my sister who's retiring works in hospitals. The 12th house is hospitals, institutions. So she's, no longer working in hospitals, but there's a profound soul shift for Taurans in this eclipse, because it's definitely a karmic wrap up, because the 12th house also sort of the reckoning, the souls coming to the end of the journey. It's that last house of the astrology wheel. And they're preparing for the Aries, their first house, when all the planets come into Taurus in their first house, which is brand new beginnings. So it's like there's this period of introversion, of reevaluation, of seeking, and so for they also travel, because 12th house can be foreign countries. So they may do a lot of traveling. I'm trying to remember what they have over the 9th house, Taurans, another sign that would indicate a lot of travel for them. But basically, Taurans are releasing some deep soul, a karmic attachment that was preventing them from being more creative, because Taurans always create a lot of security in their lives, which is great, because it's good to have a Taurus in your life because they're so secure and stable. But they're really letting that go more. They're becoming more risk takers. Aries is about taking risks. It's about being bold. It's about going out there and doing it and facing your fears. And so I think Taurans are wrestling with whatever fears are holding them back, and they're going to just conquer them and step out and be something a little, because the planets are coming into your house. You're going to be stable. So it's like the instability that this ending, it might be bringing up some deep fears around this, not letting go of something that makes you very stable. And then you're going to be, in a way, freed up to be this creative, more less stable approach to life, but there's a creative birth happening for Taurans because they have all this in their, and Taurus is ruled by Venus. So Venus is in your sign. Actually, no, I'm sorry, it's in Gemini. We have Mercury in your sign, but you've got your ruling planet in the sign of Gemini right now, which is really learning something, reading, investigating. Your ruling planet is trying to learn something. So you're making plans, you're strategizing. And this eclipse is happening at the same time where it's going to shift your mentality to be more free, more wild, more experimental, more less. It's kind of like very liberating for Taurans. I like it for Taurus. But I do think there's some deep soul reckoning coming as well in this eclipse, which would be the meeting of the sphere that brought you to seek constant security, and you're facing that fear and you're sticking your tongue at it.
I love that
Okay,
image.
what card
I
did you get?
just see all those of us who have Taurus prominently in our chart, myself included with a Taurus moon. I see myself as like this little girl that's like, you know, that kind of thing. So you break out your playful inner child in this eclipse season, you know, make
that fear and kick it in the balls or whatever.
Yeah, whatever, wherever you need to kick it, just kick it away.
Yeah, take it to go away. But that's the thing. It's like you're going to have this liberation of it. And you're going to realize it has had a hold on you, and now you're going to have a hold on it.
And not in a grippy way, in a very just, I'm not scared of you anymore. You know, you're not intimidating me anymore. I can handle this. I can do this. I know that I'm okay. I don't need this thing for survival or for security purposes.
Right.
So,
and you guys have, I'm trying to look at your 11th house for Taurans, because one of the things that Taurans probably one of the other things you're going to let go of fear of what people think of you. You're really going to let go of I mean, really, honestly, I think it's very profound shift in a total fear-based, completely dead, like no more fears. Almost like this whole clearing of some sort of fear thing that rule Taurans. And I think that's a karmic thing because they've got Aries there. So it's some sort of big overcome of that.
Yeah, which for me feels very, it feels really good, but yet there is a sense of like, oh boy, you know, a little like a little shaky, but yet okay. I'm just curious if anybody that's watching has Taurus in their chart, if they're feeling like that. The flower for Taurus is euphrasia. It's somewhat similar to the papaya flower. I think it was papaya flower for Aries. But what I love about this is that it activates intuition. The message is be decisive. And you mentioned the ruling planet of Taurus, Venus, being in Gemini. Gemini can be very indecisive. It's like those two sides battling each other. And this feels very supportive, where you have this energy, if you choose to tune into this flower and call it in to support you, to be decisive and to utilize your intuitive knowings, your intuition in general, to help you make choices, know what action to take, that Aries energy in your life going forward. And that can give you a sense of security. I know for me, when I feel really in tune with my intuition and I'm just flowing with life and not trying to control things or be anything other than be somewhere other than where I am in the moment, it goes so much more smoothly. So this feels very supportive for this time. I
love that card. Yeah. I mean, the first thing that hits me when I look at that card and is one of the things I think Taurans are going to be is more creative, more free. And that card, doesn't it look like that? Like they're just flowering up. They're coming out of their caves and they're going to be big flowers and they're just going to shine more, you know?
It feels like this, like, I'm here. Hi.
Like we're here. Instead of just being secure and stable, we're now going to add some frill to all of that, add some decoration and fun to all of that.
I dig it. All right.
Taurus moons, by the way, is very exalted. Nice placement, by the way, to have a Taurus moon. I think it's going to be very good for people. Very nice.
Yay. Yay.
It might rattle your fears. You might have to face some fear.
Oh, girl, I'm feeling it already.
Me too. I'm a little nervous about these energies myself, but I do know that they're going to be good. So
Yeah, definitely.
the other side is good. Yeah. Okay. So where are we? Gemini. Mercury is in Taurus right now, your ruling planet. So let's look at this eclipse for you guys. So Aries is in your 11th house. Wow, big. So you're going to be letting go of friendship groups, tribes, certain people that are not your true people. And you're going to maybe a crisis, that can be a painful eclipse because it can sometimes be through a negative experience that happens, or a crisis. But then you do get a whole new tribe, your true tribe, or you become awake and aware of who your true tribe are. And also it could be a romantic, depending on the rest of your chart. It could be a romantic of somebody through the internet or through your tribe, you then get into a relationship with. You have an eclipse where you suddenly realize, wow, that's my person. Aries there, 11th house eclipse. What else could it be? It's potential, the secret, because got the Pluto squaring this eclipse. So some sort of secret or truth comes out that maybe someone's not been on your team and not been supporting you, or saying things. Mercury's about saying things and thinking that is not supportive. You become aware of a non-supportive friend, and it really triggers a deep fear, because remember, this Pluto square is in the picture. So some sort of triggering occurs that makes you realize that you have to really let this thing go. That's no longer in alignment, because these eclipses want you off the wrong path onto the right path. So for Gemini, it's some kind of a friendship, peer group, a profound shift and changes, and also waking up to realizing who the ones are and who to collaborate with and who are on your team, all of that. Go ahead. What'd you get?
So there were two cards. One flew all the way out. One just kind of flipped
So
over. It's so Gemini. But I feel like there's one specific message. So Madelaine, I'm going to ask you to pick one, number one or number two, and that's going to be the card for Gemini.
One.
Okay. So
because I think Gemini are into union with their confusion.
Okay. So here we go.
Oh, wow.
Here, white water lily, and activates awareness. So I think that completely lines up with what you just said. The message is sharpen your senses. Do you feel there is something preventing you from really seeing? So,
wow.
I don't know what else I could say.
Yeah, that reminds me, don't forget with Gemini, all these Taurus stuff happening. So they're going to have Taurus in their 12th house, and all the planets are a lot of planets are going to be in their 12th house in the summer. So they're going to be either really traveling to foreign countries, or really going in deep soul diving into what they truly want. And that's interesting. That looks like clarity in that card, don't you think?
It does. And it's like, I'm trying to get the lighting right. It's almost like you have all these options, around you, and you just hone in on like that thing that you really want. Like you've got your eyes set on it.
Yes.
And you decide, like, you're like, that's the thing. I choose this. I'm going for this, that Aries, I'm doing this, just knowing. So yeah.
It's so interesting, because I went for the number one, because Gemini's the twin, and like you say, they're ruled by Mercury, which is so adaptable, very adaptable. And now they're no longer, they're like, boom, that card just was like, boom. It's interesting.
Exactly. Yeah. It's so cool. It's so cool.
I love the card thing. It's fun.
All right. So Cancer.
Cancer is happening. Aries, 10th house, guys. I mean, I'm really interested because I'm rising Cancer. So this is kind of curious. So it's in between your 10th and 11th houses. So we are really seeing some kind of a work thing go away, something about your career going away, and something about your career coming in. So there's some sort of financial, well, it squares Pluto, which is right in between your 8th and 7th houses. So you're really releasing potential finances or joint financing with another person, or ending a relationship, or really finalizing a very bonded situation, and joint resources, because the 8th house is joint, other people's money. So you're really letting go of that. And I mean, really, if you want to see where you have to let go of something, see where Pluto is in your chart. That's where you're letting go of something. So, but guess what the landing is your career. Your career is going to take some kind of a very positive shift. You've got Mars in your first house, giving you a lot of, well, Mars in Cancer is a bit lazy. I'm not going to lie. I've been feeling a bit lazy. It's confusing. It's like a little bit of a lazy energy, but there's this sort of the Aries stuff is there too. So it's kind of like Mars being in the Mars is ruling this eclipse, but it's in water. So it's almost like the Mars energy is more flowy, more letting things just happen and unfold. And in a way that's helping the eclipse because it's allowing us to not be so resistant to the changes and not take such a crisis frame of mind about it. And so the Mars in Cancer during the eclipse, I really ought to talk about that as well, is also a weaker energy for Mars because Mars is not very strong in the sign of Cancer, which means there can be angry outbursts, and Mars energy is not as controlled in the sign of Cancer. So it's possible that there are conflicts with Aries and Mars ruled people or Mars chart squares, but squares of this eclipse onto certain planets. But for you guys, Cancer, I mean, really, honestly, I mean, it's fantastic eclipse for Cancer because it's trining your ascendant. If you're a lower degree Cancer, if you're higher degree Cancer, it's squaring your ascendant, which means it's changing your identity, complete change in career, complete change in identity. You know, I don't know how my career is changing exactly. I can't see it yet. Usually you're going to see it. I am seeing what I'm letting go of, that's for sure. But eclipses are bring things to you. So you can't necessarily see it, what's coming up. You can feel it. You can feel that there's a shift. It's a little scary because it just feels different. It's new. And we're all a little bit of afraid of what we don't know, you know. But I think for Cancer, this is a really fabulous eclipse. Now it can, if you are a high degree, if you've got your descendant or your seventh house, it's squaring your planets in your seventh house. So again, we're seeing shifts in relationships there. It's opposing your fourth house. There's a good chance you're letting go of a living situation, potentially moving. But then you have all these planets going into your 11th house, Taurus, which is work time, busy time, involving new tribe, building new projects, starting new financial, rewarding long-term endeavors. Go into mission with your divine partnerships, starting missions. A lot of people are going to be doing that. That comes up in my card reads a lot. What else can I say for Cancer? I would say that they are rattled in fear-wise, fear energy around the eclipse because of that squaring to the 8th house, which is scary. 8th house transits are usually a little bit scary, but it's kind of like something rattling down and revealing a very strong platform. So I would say the benefits show up bigger than the fears.
Well, and this, I think the flower that's supporting Cancerians, this moon cycle will be helpful. The mountain laurel. And you touched on this briefly while you were sharing about Cancerians are just relaxing a little bit, like not being so tight about stuff. And this activates total comfort, and the message is let it all hang out. So if there's some area of your life where you're really holding on really tightly to something like a job, like you talked about, or something in your life that needs to shift or change in some way, the mountain laurel will be very supportive to help you release that a little more gently, a little bit more in alignment with you, like where it's like you feel okay about it. You don't feel this sense of, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. It's like there might be one, oh my gosh, not three, oh my gosh, and be able to move through that just a bit better, more easily, more gracefully.
Yeah, that really, really resonates with me because I had an investment that I paid $1,000 a month for it was a land investment, and now that's paid off and I don't have to pay that anymore. And it's like, that takes the pressure off me having to take so many readings all the time. Like I just, I've got to cover all these and that's going away. So that pressure is releasing. So that might be part of the way it plays out for me too. But that's a nice card. I do think that works great for Cancer because I think this eclipse makes it that your career is more flow and that you don't have to sort of hustle as much or keep the ball rolling, or it's almost the momentum is going to take off on its own energy field, which is great.
Well, and it's so funny as like
relaxing.
as you were talking about that, a couple of different times, the little thumbs up reaction showed up on the screen and I'm doing nothing. So I think that's pretty much a clear universal sign that yes, yes, yes.
My energy coming through the waves. I'm just kidding, but yeah.
Well, I mean, I think
about it though.
Yeah. And I think the universe is saying, yes, right on. You got it.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
Very
It's
cool.
like you're pedaling a bike up a hill. You're like constantly petting your bike, pedaling. And now you can just like coast.
Oh, that is such a great feeling. That's so fun.
I know. I love it. Love it. Love it. I was doing a reading with this one person this week, and everything I was saying, I was just reading her chart. Like, I'm not like, when I do chart readings and card readings, I don't say, oh, this is coming true. I'm just trying to tell you what I'm getting and what I'm seeing, right?
Yeah.
And everything I was saying, okay, this is happening in all in the eclipse. Her life is told. She's going, love it, love it, love it. That's all she said all the way through. I love that, love it.
That's awesome.
I was just telling her the information.
Yeah, it's super fun when that happens, when everything you hear in a reading or maybe on this cosmic chat is so in tune with and aligned with where you are heading, and you can feel it. It's like, yes, all right, let's do it.
Like total changing in your relationship. It's like, oh, your whole relationship life is going to change. Love it, love it.
Well, I would love to hear what you have to say about Leo, because I feel like there's some.
This is going to be great for Leo because the energies of Aries trines. I have a friend who has a Leo sun, 29 degrees trines Leos. So this is a really great. I know a lot of people with their MCs at Leo. This trines, the eclipse trines your MCs, fantastic for Leo. I love it. Which is like, but basically all the fire signs are going to like this because they do like change and they do like fire new beginnings and they do like feeling like they're on an adventurous. I actually really am excited for the changes. I don't have a lot of fixed in my chart. So, so Leo, you guys have this in your 9th house. I mean, that's travel. That's newer philosophies. Again, the eclipse is in a 9th house and you know, that's the house of Sagittarius. So it's about spiritualism. It's about belief. It's ruled by Jupiter, but Leo, you guys are ruled by the sun. So eclipses are very powerful for Leos because they're ruled by the sun. By the way, Cancer, you guys are ruled by the moons. I forgot to mention that. So it's powerful for everybody, but sun and moon people, it's like bigger. Anyway, so Leo are going to have this energy trining your planets in Leo, and that's just awesome. So what would you be letting go of? Let's take a look, because it's going to be in your 9th house. Leos are opening up to being very bold and courageous and willing. In a way, they're going to believe in themselves more. They're going to be more leader, because that the Leo is the leader, Leo, leader. They're going to shine more. They're going to be more confident about shining. They're going to be bold. Jupiter's nearby, so don't get too cocky. No, I'm kidding. Don't start showing off and all that. No,
it's a good reminder for me. I can totally go into that zone, and when I catch myself, it's like, oh, dang it, Amalia, come on, tone it down. Not turn it off, just tone it down just a little.
No, but
bring it in.
My son is Leo, and he ought to get out on social media because he handcrafts leather and bags and things. He's really good at making shoes, and I think the new Earth is about not mass production and having things that are valuable, that last a long time, that aren't so bad for the planet to create. You know, that's what he's about, and I have a lot of respect for that. So I think it's time for him to get out there. So Leos are going to they're going to roar. They're going to shine. They're going to let their feathers out into the world and shine and be brave and be, shall we say, over themselves, because they're going to get over beliefs, because it's potential with Aries over the 9th house. It's possible there's stubborn belief. And I do think my son is a little bit like that, but I think he's opening his mind a lot more. This is going to be a very mind opening experience for Leo. They're going to explore. They're going to want to learn more. They're going to want to explore something. They're going to go into depth about something. They're going to want to lead the world in higher consciousness. They're connecting to their higher mind, what they really believe is in their heart, because this is ending an ego. So Leo shadow aspect is strong ego energy. so they're ending a sort of karmic side, loving themselves for superficial reason, karmic kind of reasons, because they're beautiful or trying to show their value through superficial. And now they're going to see the heart is the core of their value, and that the heart is what leads them now. And the heart is where they align their beliefs with the heart. The heart mind, in all of this eclipse, the heart mind is stronger because the 29th degree in Aries is ending some rigid belief or ending an old thought pattern as well. And so with Leo, you guys are kind of falling in love with the Leo essence and believing in yourselves and falling in love with higher consciousness, mind, the world that is beyond the limited lower mind. They might go to school. They might start teaching. My son could teach on YouTube his skills. I think it'd be great. Everybody starts making their own shoes.
or buy
kind
them
of weird.
from him.
What they last? What?
I said, or buy them from him, which is probably what I would do versus making them myself.
Yeah, it takes a while, but yeah.
Yeah.
But they'll last you your life. They will. They'll last you all your life. So maybe by doing this, I'm advertising him, and people are going to contact him. His name is Samson Hill on Instagram. Anyway,
definitely.
So for Leos, really a fiery expansion of who they are. They expand who they are. They believe more in who they are. They are open to new beliefs. It's coming out of their ego self and into a more seeking energy of what is beyond themselves, what is bigger in the world. And it's great for Leo.
So I love this card to support what you just said.
Ooh.
The date palm flower. And some of these flowers you all may have seen in previous cosmic chats, because I'm reusing the same flowers, which is great, because if you end up buying any of the products, you'll potentially have exactly what you need. And you may need to use it more than 1 month in a row, because there's some excavation that's taking place and transformation. But the date palm flower activates freedom from extremes, and the message is shift the paradigm. So when you were talking about Leo changing their belief systems and changing the like that ego mind, the superficiality and that sort of energy, it feels very aligned with this. And as a Leo sun myself, I can definitely get caught up in the outer external picture versus really tuning into the internal in order to balance out the two and not go too far in extreme. It's like so worried about what people might think of me that I'm not really being as fully, I'm pretty authentic and genuine, but I may like not share the.
Yeah, you'll let go of some rigid belief that's been holding you back.
Yeah. Yeah,
stopping you from being who you are as an individual, because Leos are very unique individuals. They're here to express their uniqueness, their individual uniqueness.
I love my uniqueness. It's uncomfortable sometimes to express it, though.
Good.
So it's this feels very supportive for that process. So
love that card. Cool.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. It feels like we're getting different cards today than we usually get. Like I'm seeing more yellows.
There is a bit of a different energy. Yeah, there's more yellows and greenish hues. I think the only one so far that's been a different, like purple, was the mountain laurel. So yeah, very interesting.
All righty. Virgo. I just had coffee with a Virgo. We was talking about their places in their 8th house. And in their 8th and in their so for Virgo, this eclipse is, really this isn't an on the cusp eclipse, and I haven't been going through the two blended energies of the two houses, but I could talk all day about that. But so for you guys, it's going to be in between your 8th. Virgo have Taurus over their 9th, and they have Aries over their 8th. Wow. So you guys are ending potentially one sexual relationship and coming into another one that is, or joint relationships with joint financing, because that's in your 8th house. So you're going to become more connected. You're going to let go of a relationship where you had joint financing with, or joint resources, or joint something. And now you're going to be releasing that, letting that go, opening you up for a new relationship. This does come potentially with tantric type sex, really, really, really soul clearing total body experience, really powerful. That is very high manifesting energy. So there's like a lot of like potentially a debt is erased. And what else? And like a tax return comes in and ends a situation where you're indebted. What else can I say for Virgo here? So the ninth house could be teaching you you're gonna have Taurus in your ninth house. So you're gonna potentially could eradicate a debt, or also refinance something and then go to school because you've got Taurus in your ninth house, get in a loan, student loan or educational situation, or start teaching, or start really learning. I know a Virgo rising that I just had coffee with wants to learn astrology. That's the ninth house, Taurus. So I'm gonna teach him astrology. What else is going on in Virgo's chart? So we're really looking at, and eighth house is a relationship house. So a lot of potential Virgos letting go of one relationship, entering into the new one. What flower do you get?
Well, it's funny when you talk about eighth house, not to confuse people, but eighth house is Scorpio energy. It's that it is that you were touched on the sexual energy of it too. And I also, as a Scorpio ascendant, to me, Scorpio also is about just there's some deep emotional territory, and it's about discovering aspects of ourselves too. And that might be through relationship, that might be through sexuality, that might be through even money, it's other people's money. There is that relationship aspect to it. This here is, did you want to say something else?
Well, I just keep forgetting to mention secrets, because that Pluto squaring in your eighth house, a secret, that is the Pluto house. So some sort of secret will be revealed, like a past relationship will come back and you'll find out they really loved you, or that it was real. Some sort of secret is revealed, or you discover somebody is having an affair and you end the relationship. That could happen.
So this card, the gardenia, let's see, can we get it so you can see all of the different, there we go. You can see there's a softness to this flower, but yet there's I don't know, it seems mighty at the same time. Does it
seem a bit sexual to you?
It does. Yeah, it totally does. Lines up pretty darn well. It activates shifting your perception, and the message is transform your weaknesses into strengths. So I feel like with Scorpio, I'm sorry, say that again.
That is so the eighth house. It is also about power struggles, but it is absolutely about transformation. It's crazy you got that card. That's amazing.
Yeah. And it feels like for Virgos, they tend to be very practical, very organized, very, maybe I go so far as to say structured, not quite so much as Capricorns are, but they are structured. And so this is allowing them, to me, it feels like a little bit of a softening of the edges of them, like just being able to lean into their sensual side a little bit more and relax into that a bit more. And there will be
letting go of the head space. Maybe getting out of that head space puts you more into a soul connected relationship, because maybe your headspace was very rigid about who a relationship was, and now you're letting that flow, and you're opening up, and you're starting to align up with something that is more organic and real,
for you, but based on you, because you've shifted your perception of it all, you don't see it through the same lens that you saw it before. So there's that ability to, because my daughter is a Virgo, and I know with her, she's a go with the flow kind of a person, but yet she's very organized and structured, and she likes things a certain way, and allowing her, and she's started a new project where it's allowing her to express herself in a more creative way, versus it's structured still, and organized. Even the name of her page alludes to that. Now that I don't know if she'd want me to share it, so that's why I'm not this minute, but I may at some point. But it's really, really cool to be able to share what's going on in a very artistic way. It's a totally different perception of things that we all think that at some point in our lives. So I know that was a bit cryptic and vague,
Yeah,
but
that's
yeah.
interesting, because I also think, because it's in between their ninth and their eighth house, that there is a Virgo belief shift, but and with all these Tauran energies coming in, another way to describe it is really getting your teeth into something, like really tuning in and chomping on it, like, so they're going to really get their teeth into something. They're going to learn about something with all that Taurus there. They're going to get a firm grip on something.
I love it. All right, let's see. Libras.
Oh, woo. Okay, Libras, you guys are having this eclipse in your seventh house and in the eighth. So, I mean, relationship, big time endings, partnerships that have been contracted. That now Libra, when I do card readings for Libras, a lot of times the cards are always tilting to the heart space, because it's an air sign ruled by Venus, though, and your ruling planet is in the sign of Gemini right now, which is very mental, very mind energy. So Libras in this eclipse, I think you're going to become shifted in a way that I would say definitely wakes you up to somehow how mind centered you've been. And the true relationship will surface, will be right there, the one that is for you. Now, if you're in a relationship and you're in the right relationship, it won't go away, it will stay, but the life of the person you're in a relationship may completely change. Their life is completely changed. Yep. And then they become more known or more notoriety. And it being in the eighth house, it's potential that joint income happens now between the two of you, and you are now potentially supported by your mate with all these planets in your eighth house in Taurus there, or the joint financing make you somewhat financially liberated or more stable. Let's look at it that way. So Libras are entering more committed situations with finances, with a joint relationship, but if the relationship is not heart-based, not in other words, if you've been in a relation, a lot of Libra do this because they call them hopscotchers. They don't like to be alone, so they tend to jump into relationships very quickly, and then they realize, because they have Aries over their seventh house, these were spontaneous things, because a lot of times Aries, you do things really quick as spontaneous, and then you regret it, or it turns not to be, the fire doesn't stay. So they might be waking up to what relationship choices were not based in the genuine soul, heart, love, and were more mind-based, and releasing that. And then an opinion completely changing too, and a secret being revealed potentially about a relationship that makes you end it. They may have cheated, or you have a fear, paranoia about that person, which ends because the eclipse in the seventh and eighth ends that. But we are looking at total and utter transformations, profound, in the houses of your relationships and joint financing, and karmic attached based choices that only probably turned into very crisis situations, which will most likely show up during this eclipse. If it is not the right relationship, it will probably show up in a form of a crisis. So Pluto there squaring the sun, your ego gets smashed, what you think is not, because Aries is in your seventh house, so you've got some sort of rigid idea around relationships, or strong-willed, and they're external, and now you're being forced to go with an internal, new, shall we say, soul-based experience. And again, sexuality, eighth house, it could turn into a new relationship that becomes very tantric, and also joint financing. But again, secrets coming out involving financing, joint partnerships, money. It squares Pluto in your fourth house, so that's like really letting go of karmic attachments in real estate or properties or family ideas. Go ahead, Amalia. It looks like you got a card there.
I do.
My favorite color.
It's pink, and I think these flowers are quite pretty. Pink magnolia.
Oh, I love
and
that.
What is I just think so cool about this is that this activates self-care. The message is take exquisite care of yourself. Now I want to go on to share. It also says, are you giving all of your loving energy to others while forgetting to take care of yourself? Which to me is so Libra. Libra gives, they want to keep harmony in their
That-
relationships, they're
that's
willing to
true.
sacrifice in order to maintain the you know, it's like, oh, this kind of people pleasing a little bit. So
Yes,
this
because they don't
reminds you
want to let go of relationships. They don't want to be in this a single.
yeah.
So they
And it's reminding, take care of yourself. If you notice that you're feeling depleted with someone, if you notice that you're giving so much of yourself that you have nothing left for yourself later because you're giving it to others, it's time for a change. And this eclipse is going to show you. You're going to know, you're going to see and experience it. So pink magnolia for Libra, which pretty spot on.
Yeah, Libras are ruled by Venus, and that's a very Venus looking card, very pretty, very.
Yes. Yeah.
See, they get very thrown off by looks. It may not, just because they look great, may not be great, but you know, for you.
That's so funny. You just reminded me of my father, who has since passed, but he was a Libra sun. He still is a Libra sun, and that was a huge thing for him. Was about how we would look as his children in the world, in society, because we were representing him and the family. You know, he always wanted us to present a certain way. I'd forgotten about that, and so that may also show up for Libra.
Yeah, Libra like to choose partners that make them look better, or you know, their identity is part of that. The relationship and identity is very blended.
So let's see Scorpio. Oh, I'm
Scorpio.
like bracing myself almost for this one.
Yeah, you guys are ruled by Pluto, and this eclipse is also, you guys are ruled by Mars and Pluto, and this eclipse squares Pluto. So yeah, let's take a look. But also you have an eclipse coming at 14 degrees May 5th. We have double eclipses. You know, the eclipses always come in twos. Everything in the universe comes in twos. Isn't that nice? So Scorpio, you guys have this crazy energies happening in your 6th house. Okay.
Would that be 6th and 7th, the cusper type energy? Or would you say it's more the 6th for Scorpio?
Yeah, 6th and 7th house. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So it's on your descendant. This eclipse is right on your descendant. Taurus is, you're gonna have a whole bunch of planets in your 7th house. So new beginnings or new foundations. So it's potentially that, again, Scorpio, plus you've had a lot of eclipses in your 7th house, and you have one more. And then we move to the nodes being in Aries and Taurus, which I forgot to talk about. There's so much to talk about, but we really are initiating a whole new eclipse cycle between Aries and Libra, which is all about relationships versus ourselves and finding a balanced middle ground. But Scorpio are definitely letting go of toxic, because if the 6th house is really letting go of something that is addiction, or that is not good for you, that causes you to be sick or causes you to be stress, frustrations. So you're really letting go of something that that isn't healthy for you in this eclipse, and becoming ready for, but then a new contracted relationship most likely could come in, or maybe you just become single for a while and then you do find the right person down the line. But there is definitely a lot of work happening in your 7th house afterwards. So potentially other partnerships, or if you're in the right relationship, it transforms, and then you start becoming more committed to that relationship, and you start building with that person, you start planning things, because the 4th house is creating new structures, the new earth. So let me look at Scorpio again. So now this planet is ruled, this eclipse is ruled by Pluto, and Mars. So this is some deep, profound shifting in your I'm going to say habits, because it's 6th house is day-to-day habits. So something that you do on a habitual level that isn't good for you, and it can be pretty profound and deep. A lot of Scorpios might bottom out on, if they're alcoholic, they may hit their bottom and then they go to rehab. They may end a relationship that was based on their alcoholic state or their addictive state. And so then they let that go and they become healthier, because now we get all these planets in the 7th house and a healthy relationship comes in for them. But also you're letting go of I would say a series of headstrong opinions about relationships and headstrong opinions about your work, because the sixth house is also work. So I would say you're going to have an open mind about a new work, because that sixth house can be a new day-to-day living situation. You could become very busy on a new project that is involving your future, that is the right one. So you're letting go of a day-to-day, something you're doing on a day-to-day. You're going to become busier on doing something on a day-to-day that is more your future. So you might be letting go of something you're doing on a day-to-day basis. Maybe Amalia, you've been doing day-to-day posts, and now the situation, an opportunity comes in where now you're shifting your day-to-day posts completely to something that is that you're doing with somebody else, and most likely a relationship, because it's in between your sixth and your seventh house. And I think I know you're doing that. But that really works for that, you know.
Yeah, and it definitely is. There has definitely been a shift that I've noticed for me when it comes to my work. And, you know, I feel like, and I'm going to share this because I feel like it may resonate with people that are listening, in that, you know, we've been taught to follow a specific structure for success. You do this, you do this, you do this, you win. You do that, you do that, you do that, you lose. And I say win and lose in terms of success. And what I've noticed is that for me personally, and I've learned this through my work with soul contract, with astrology, with human design, with gene keys, all these things. And if those are foreign to you, give me a follow, because I'm going to be talking about these a lot in the coming weeks. Is that when we flow with the energy of who we are, we flow with ourselves versus what somebody else is telling us to do. And I tell my clients this too, like, I'm sharing this with you, but you are the one that decides if that's right for you. You're going to feel it in your body, like, oh yeah, that really, I feel that in here. That's something that really works for me. And then if I say something else, it's like, no, you get to decide how you want to do that. I have a friend that's her tagline, you decide. And I guess my point is that when it comes to my work, I was attempting to follow the structure that somebody else created versus flowing the energy of myself. And that has really made a big difference in how people engage and how people see me and my work. And I feel like we often don't feel like we have permission to do that, that if we don't follow this one structure and this one system, that there's no way that we could be successful. And I just feel like it's so important to share that that's not always true. I mean, these systems and structures are going to work for some people, but they may not work for all people. And you were talking about, changing, letting go of a headstrong opinion. Well, this card, the giant spider lily, the message is free your mind. Free your mind. And activate a lightness and a lightheartedness. And for this Scorpio rising right here, I am so tuned into that and so clear of, like, let the chatter of the mind just go ahead, be in the background like white noise, and really access more of that lightheartedness within myself and activate from there, go and create from there. So I love that, because it's not as scary.
Yeah, because I'll tell you something, what you're saying is really important, because that's why we have adaptable energies, because the universe is always like for instance, when it was the Aries era and you were really bold like a Roman, and that was when the Romans were around, and they were, the more bold and invasion you were, the more the universe supported you, the more Aries you were. And then it went into Pisces, and then the more repentant you were or the more empathic you were, the better things are. And now we're shifting into Aquarius. So in other words, you always want to align. The way that has been written and how it's supposed to be is not right today, because it was written yesterday.
Right.
Always changing. Things are always evolving and shifting. And now we're going into the energies of Aquarius, which is literally being online, being on the internet, the new future, visualizing a new reality that we prefer. And so the energy, and also you always want to look at your MC in your chart, because your MC is the secret to the energy that, and not everybody not everyone's chart is one size fit all. Success is not one path for all. In your MC, you can see the secret to your success. Look at the energy of your MC. That is the energy when it really aligns with the human design charts, I find. But with like when you understand your MC, you know the energy that you're supposed to employ that will open the doors for you. I see it happen all the time. So you do want to, rigid thinking is not one thing idea. That's why the energy of the thinking thought is Mercury, and it's mutable, it's adaptable, because things are always changing.
One other thing I would want to mention too is that there's another little question on here. It says, are you craving a sense of freedom and effortlessness? And I feel like that for me, Scorpios don't like to be caged in. They got that stinger for a reason. When they feel like they're cornered, they're going to strike. And so Scorpios always want that sense of like, give me some space. And they would like, we all would like it to be effortless and easy, but Scorpios in particular, they really don't want you getting in their way. And so it's just a reminder. It's just a reminder that your mind could be your cage. It may not be that you're cornered. Just allow your mind to be free, and you'll notice the freedom that opens up in your physical reality too.
Yes. So, you bring up a good point, because Scorpio have Capricorn over their third house. So they've been mostly clearing karma around third house issues, which is people that are close to them, sibling, but also their thinking and their communication. And gosh, I lost my train of thought just then. They're purifying that. They're purifying their thinking. What were you just saying? I suddenly I was inspired by what you said, and now I just went away.
It was about freedom of mind, not feeling like they're caged in. Yeah.
Because the third house, you have Capricorn there, Pluto is there, it's leaving there. You're squaring that. You're letting go of a lower earth mind thinking third house, or you're letting go of a small business that you're running that's not working out. It can be anything in that range. But
so interesting. Okay, so let's see what's next. Sagittarius.
Sagittarius. I am a sun sign Saggy, proud to be Sagittarius. All Sagittarians are proud to be Sagittarius, because I'll tell you why Sagittarians are great. Because we can hit a moving target with an arrow. So that's something to be proud of.
That's a cool talent.
Sagittarians can sit on a horse and gallop and let the arrow go and shoot a target. I'm really good at darts.
Good to know. I'm not taking any bets with you when it comes to darts.
Yes.
Unless you're on my team. Yeah.
I will win for the team. If put me on your dart team, I'll win. All right.
Yeah.
So Sagittarians, you guys have Aries over your fifth house. Awesome. Great for Saggies. See, my Sagittarius my sun is 29 degrees Sagittarius. It's trining my sun. Yay. But for Sagittarians, this is in your fifth house, which means you are releasing potentially control over your
You okay?
See, I'm having a hard time with letting this go.
You are. There's some holding on.
Yeah, it's my kids. Fifth house is children. So something in the life of the children are going to completely change. And it's true, because I looked at my son's chart for this eclipse. Unbelievable. Something really great's happening for him. And it's hard for me because I'm letting go of my baby. You're letting go of them as being babies. They're growing up. They're becoming their own thing. And he's so cutie, cuddly little boy that I love. But now he's a man with stinky socks. Anyway. So Sagittarian's fifth house eclipse, something totally changing in the life of your children, or you suddenly become pregnant if you're in that stage of your life, if that's what you're in for. But a very big shift and change around the life. See, 1, 2, 3, a big shift and change around the lives of your children, but also friendships, really a friend leaving, or a friend turning into a romantic partnership, or meeting your true person. They're a friend, you're meeting them through friends. Or a creative project involving your kids becomes really successful, because my ex-husband is on a creative project with my son. So I could see his life. He has Jupiter in the 5th house, which usually indicates that a child makes you very abundant. So there's potential that a 5th house child or somebody helps you become liberated, but also letting go of controlling of your child, or letting go of the child. They're grown up now, they're leaving the nest. What else could it be? A 5th house eclipse. Creative projects. You let go of a creative project and another one opens up. You let go of your life being just work, and a creative project, your life becomes more creative focused. Let's see, because Capricorn is over your 2nd house. So I would say that you let go of a money fear, because Sagittarians are clearing karma around finances, and they can be over generous. And I'm not, because I'm rising sign Cancer. I'm good with my money. I'm very good with my money. But I know Sagittarians that are not so great with their money. Like my son, for one, he just, as soon as he has money, it just falls right through his fingers, because they've, I'm like, hold it on a little bit, like hold it. Anyway, so karma cleared around that, letting go of fear-based attachments to a way of making money. A whole new way of making money opens up for you, to more authentic, that then because you could start a business or start a new project, because I know all these things go into your 3rd house. All these planets go into your 3rd house. So you're really initiating a new project, new writing ideas. But creative project could take off. A creative project you've been struggling with that hasn't made any money could suddenly you become catapulted and you become known. Because the 5th house can be celebrity. You suddenly become known. My son could suddenly become a celebrity because he's a guitar player. He's been at this project his whole life. So it's his destiny to succeed here. So this could be the time that he does. So for Sagittarians, I would say this is really nice 5th house for you guys. Go ahead. What'd you get?
So we have the night blooming Sirius. Let me see if I can get it so you can really see it.
I like it.
See if I can here. Yeah, I'm having trouble because the sun just there. That's a little bit better. This activates fearlessness. The message is take the leap. Leap, Saggies, leap. Don't be scared of that project that you want to start. Don't be fearful of the business that you want to open. All of those things you were literally just talking about, Madelaine. It's right there for you. You know, and
I like them bring that message about the fears leaving, because that's a big thing. Like the fear is going away, because Aries is fearless. Go ahead.
Well, and then this is a night blooming flower. So it's like in those darker times, there's still this brightness. There's still this possibility. And eclipses are there's the shadow of the moon over the sun. This is a solar eclipse. So there is that sense of, there is this brightness there, even in the dark. This flower will still bloom if that's when it blooms at night. So I don't know, that feels very resonant with Sagittarius.
I like that. I like that 5th house because that is the energy of the 5th house. It's the blooming. It's like a child being born. It's like it's like a blooming of things. And it's the 5th house is the house of Leo. It is the sun house. So it's like igniting inspiration of other people. It's like Leo is the energy that fires people up,
And this even looks like a kid version of the sun, at least for me. I would make like the circle with the little lines coming off of it, and that kind of resembles it a little bit.
Yeah. Kind of like what a kid would draw sunlight in a way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I still draw my sons like that with the lines, but that's just all right, Capricorn, we're going to shift gears here.
Yeah, so you guys have Pluto leaving your 1st house. Thank goodness for Capricorn to have this planet off with you guys. It's like, yay. So you guys have definitely cleared a lot of karma. There might be a few issues, popping up in this eclipse that really sends you over the edge, in the sense that you really do let something go, some kind of a control, because really Capricorn, I think with Pluto in Capricorn, your whole lives have been affected. So it's like, if you have Capricorn over your 7th house, you could say, yeah, you're letting go of karmic relationships and you're letting those go. But if you have Capricorn over your 1st house, you're really letting go of the whole way that you've been living, the whole control story that you've told yourself, or subconsciously you're here to learn to not be, to not try to manipulate your environment all the time. Like I don't mean that in a bad way, but like to let go and let the universe draw the story out, you know, let the universe fill in the dots, as it were, and let go, because this is Pluto is squaring your this eclipse, but the Aries is going to be in your 4th house. So you are absolutely leaving a living situation. You're moving, letting go of a family, letting go of a moving, simply letting go of a home, letting go of a, let's say you own a mortgage and it's really heavy. You end that mortgage, you end it, you or maybe your mortgage is in ripeness and over with, and you can now sell the house or leave or move or something, but something around living situation, family, eclipsing, old family going, new family coming in, old living situation going, new one coming in. You're letting go of a fear-based living situation, fear-based family, fear-based security choices that were not really based in your heart. Leo, the sun is an eclipse. It's opening your heart. Everybody's heart's truths is going to shine louder than our mental choice. Remember when you're a cardinal sign, these are angular houses, which indicates pretty big shifts in all areas of your life. So relation potentially shifts, that also shifts your living situation, that shifts maybe your work, you move. And so then you work for a different company, or you have a different work location or a different studio space or something. But for you guys, and then the 5th house, we get Taurus. So you get a lot of creative stuff, you know, the whole journey for Capricorn. I'll tell you the big karmic lesson for Capricorn that I'm finding in a lot of my readings with Capricorns is that they're really here to learn to be more creative, because they're incredible people at building structures and foundations, but there's no frill on it. There's no aesthetics on it. It's all foundation and structure. So it's like a house with just walls and doors and a window. So Capricorn are here to learn to add some flowers and flavors and creativity to that, and because it's the goat, they're the goat. So they're on a mountain, they go uphill, focused, one step in front of the other. They work hard workers, and they don't look up and see what they're working hard for, or where is it just security? No. So your Capricorns are saying, oh, I've been laboring just for security. Now I'm ready to labor for art and for love and for the beauty of life, and labor, because they're hard workers. Capricorns are great workers, but now they need to make something beautiful, not just secure. Let's see what comes up for you on that.
So I love what you were saying about creating something beautiful, not being about security. And yes, I totally agree with you. Capricorns are those, like, I just shared this with a Capricorn this morning, this like trudging uphill, always so hard work. And it doesn't have to be. It can be fun. It can be playful. The 5th house activations there also for Capricorns, that's all about being creative. It's creative projects, creativity. And for Capricorns, they've got the peony. Let me see if I can get the light to cooperate with me. Hold on a minute. There we go. That's a little bit better. And there's so much happening within this flower. You know, there's a lot of, you see that? There we go. You can see it a little bit better. What I love about this too, with Pluto leaving Capricorn and moving into Aquarius, and all of the hard work and the efforts that they've done, is that now they've activated magnetism, and the message is attract abundance. So I feel like Capricorns too have been waiting for their hard work to pay off. It's like, okay, I've been working, I've been trudging, I've been transforming, I'm rebirthing. Where's my reward? Where are my gifts? Where's the payoff for all of that? And this is reminding them, okay, it's here. It's being magnetized to you. It's okay.
I love that card because it's non-defined, and it's sort of blends in with the background a little bit. And that's almost like Capricorn stopping the hard edges and hard work, like you were saying, and redefining things and flowing with the definition of the planet more, or flowing with things, you know.
Yeah. That is a great thing for Capricorns. I think a message is for flowing more, not being quite so Saturnianly structured. I don't know if that's a word, but
I think that's a good way to say it.
Yeah, just be a little more flowy. And it's a feminine sign. So
blending that Saturn energy, that structure energy with the arts, fantastic. When the Capricorn blend the two worlds, we get perfection, we get beauty, we get magic.
Well, my Capricorn man is for sure one of those. He's fairly structured with his work, but he's super creative. And when he is less structured, he has a little bit of it. He's got the framework, but then he's
a Pisces. Pisces are the most, Pisces are hands down. Every Pisces is going to be very creative. They're fantastically creative. So that might be part. Yeah, not to interrupt that story, but
but so what were you saying about Pisces are creative, but they're what was the last thing you said? You don't know.
Very, very just all around every single Pisces that I do a chart reading for, and I say, are you musical talent? Are you an artist? They go, yes, I love it. Like it's just it's almost so easy now.
Yeah, he's not particularly musical, but for him, he's got a very strong Neptune, so it's film.
Imagination. They can have just fantastic imagination, like just out of the box imagination about things,
Cool.
So,
well, speaking of imagination and outside the box, Aquarius.
Yeah, but Pisces, Pisces you have to work hard with because they can be very doomsday mentality. Like their mind is usually like tells them, no, it's not going to doomsday. So my Pisces sun rising is like his voice on the phone. Hi, Mom. I said, what's wrong? I don't know, Mom. I don't know if it's good. I'm like, dude, just like.
Yes, that sounds somewhat familiar. Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Aquarius?
Aquarius, yes.
Pisces in your second house. Interesting for Aquarius. So you have, I don't know why I thought of that, but I just did. But let's see. Okay, Aries in your third house for Aquarius. Wow, what a rattling energy that's going to be for you guys in the sense that opinions changing. You could move because eclipse third house can be local environment, people that are around you on a day-to-day, neighborhoods, siblings. But communication, you could end a business. Third house can be small businesses, writing projects. You could move neighborhoods, change entirely area of living, but also opinions, mind, an eclipse, a crisis could occur that literally changes your mind permanently about something, about a sibling. You could get into an argument with a sibling, which ends your relationship with that sibling, or a neighbor, or an opinion, a belief that really ends in your life that is profound, because these are profound shifts. I would say potentially mind-opening, very mind-opening for Aquarians. Aquarians are open-minded people. They don't necessarily believe everything, but they're open to it. And I think that's super cool. I love that about Aquarians. But maybe now they do believe something. Maybe they do become aware of they realize that not believing anything in a way is kind of ego, because it's your thoughts, but maybe in your heart you discover a true belief that you feel to be resonant and true, because remember, we're leaving head stuff. We're releasing rigid, karmic, mentally blocked sort of. That sounds sort of Sagittarius too, to have a rigid thinking, but Aries are very strong-willed, so we're leaving the karma that our strong-willed mind put us into. Strong-willed thinking created karma, so we're letting that go. So for Aquarians, that's something in the third house, which is the house of communication. Your ruling planet Saturn is in the sign of Pisces, super spiritual, a more open-minded to potentially spiritual ways of earning money, because you've got Pisces over your second house. So spiritual wake up. I think most Aquarians are light workers here, and the ones that haven't stepped up to being starseeds are going to probably step up to being starseeds. You're going to see all these Aquarians popping out on social media, and lighting it up like a fireworks show of light, because they represent the star card in tarot. So it's like, I always, when I'm doing readings for people, they go, where am I going to meet my person? And if I pull the star card, it's like internet, online, you know. So it's like the star card, like they're going to sparkle, they're going to shine, and they're going to kill off that, because they're not open-minded, they're open-minded people, but they're going to let go of any kind of a belief, that they're going to step more into an open-minded belief, if that makes any sense. They were non-committal to a belief. Now they might become committal. But what'd you get? Let's see.
So the card for Aquarians, let me see here. Hold on. I'm trying to find, it's so funny, like as it gets a little bit darker outside, my light before.
So bright. You see?
There we go. There we go.
Oh,
I got to turn it at a slight angle.
It's like the star card.
Yeah, exactly. So bright. So bright. This is Yarrow. And Yarrow, the message is, is do a digital detox. And what I find so interesting about that is that Aquarius is 11th house, which is all about the digital world, the internet. And this is saying like, okay, in this eclipse season, it's time for you Aquarians, to recharge your batteries, take a step back, get yourself ready, and then you can reemerge. So that's how I received this card. And like when I was trying to show it before, it's like they need to, it's not that they need to tone themselves down, it's they need to refine a little bit, maybe. Like it's too much.
It's a reset. This eclipse is a total reset. So yeah, like a clearing the slate, completely a clearing the slate energy, because we got all those new seeds being. So yeah, for Aquarius, they're clearing their mental slate.
Yeah, so it's a beautiful card for them. Beautiful card. All right, and we're rounding it out with Pisces, seeing what the Pisces folks are going to be up to, because what I find so interesting about Aquarians, you know, that 11th house, and then and the fact that they're what do I want to even say? Because it's like the Aquarians are leading into the Pisces. So there's this this flowing energy I see between them. It's almost like once the Aquarians go out there and inspire, then the Pisces will create the music, they'll create the art, they'll create it's like everyone's working together. And I don't know why that just came through now to share.
I do think this eclipse is activating very, very much the entire chart in a weird way. I mean, there's connections throughout this eclipse that connects so much to the big picture. But yeah, go ahead. That's complicated, but go ahead. But I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, I have no idea where that, I'm not really sure where or why. I know where it came from, but I don't know why that came through. Somebody, I guess, needs to hear that. Maybe they're considering a collaboration of some kind with, it's an Aquarius and a Pisces, and they're just not sure. And if they hear this, maybe they'll know, oh, that's my sign. It's a yes, let's do it. So yeah. All right. So I'll let you share your wisdom.
To Pisces?
Yes, ma'am.
Aries in your second. Okay. So, I mean, really, how great is an eclipse in your second house? I love eclipses. I had eclipses in my 7th house and my second house. That was when I ended alimony and I started earning my own money. So at first it scares the bejeebers out of you, because you think, oh my God, what am I going to do? Because some way of earning money is gone. And then a new way is coming in that is way more stable. It's your own thing. So some sort of insecure way of earning money for Pisces that would have been fear-based, because a lot of these are ego-based choices, which tend to be more fear-based choices, more based out of a lack of faith, potentially, making way to a more heartfelt, true way of earning money that's going to last you. Because remember, we're creating more stability here. And then you got Taurus over your 3rd house here. So new businesses launching, new websites, new projects, writing projects. Pisces are very much musicians, artists, creatives. Also just imaginative. You might get into a writing project, a very creative writing project with that Taurus in the 3rd house. And then with the 2nd house eclipse, honestly, say goodbye to one way of earning money. I mean, there's just no other way to see it. And that way of earning money, but believe me, you're going to be really happy that that's not the way you're earning money anymore. It's going to liberate you. You feel much more in your own power. Um, um, what else? The second house is, again, a creative house. It's the house, it's ruled by, it's a house, a Venus house. It's the house of Taurus. So again, very creative, you know. Pisces really are the highest dimensional realm. They're most connected to the unseen world. They're the most connected. Pisces are not supposed to be super active. They're supposed to be very receptive. They get downloads, they get ideas, they're connected to the spirits that are up there feeding the arts, because these arts, the arts and music are all channeled from the higher realms, because musicians hear the music. They're not really writing it. They hear it. It's fed to them. They get downloads. So you Pisces are going to get major downloads, but you're also, Saturn is in your sign. So it's like the universe is structuring now more. See, there's a challenge for Pisces because it's non-structured. It's the least structured energy. But now with Saturn in your sign, you're going to be able to merge your imaginative world with the structured world. So it's going to be more abundant now, because that's kind of a problem for Pisces, is how to ground the imagination, how to hear. They hear it, but how do I make it you hear what I hear, or you see what I hear? So now they're going to have a structure. Saturn coming in there, helping them structure the non-structured, which is hard for Pisces. A lot of Pisces have their Saturn. People with Saturn are having Saturn return. So we're going to see a big influx of very creative, imaginative people kind of coming into the world here that are outside the box thinkers, outside the lines, breaking through the conventionalities. But because it's coming from a higher dimension, which is unborn, that which is unmaterialized, they then start to materialize it. But now they're opening up because of that eclipse, ending an ego. My Pisces can be quite, they've got the MC there in Sagittarius. So they can have really rigid ideas about how things are supposed to go. And so they're going to shatter that and open up to the more intuitive, and trusting that the intuitive, creative messages that are coming through to them are actually really supposed to guide them to their true financial destiny. It is their liberating destiny, the liberating energy for them.
I'm absolutely going to make sure that my guy listens to this part of the cosmic chat, because normally I just recap it for him. But this time I'm going to invite him to watch and listen, because one of the key pieces that I've noticed with him and other Pisces in my life is that they have this huge fear around making enough money. Mm-hmm. And a huge fear around how they're going to make money. And it's often misaligned somehow. There's often this sense of, well, I want this, but this is what is here, and I don't know how, and I want to change it and shift it. And with his Capricorn sun, there's a lot of things like that happening, conflicts within himself.
Well, now, boy, though, I will tell you though, just to jump in here, but the Capricorn and Pisces mix is amazing. Elvis Presley had that.
I see it and I know it. He's yet to experience that where he believes it. And what's so cool about this card, the Mandavia, is it activates acceptance, and the message is fall in love with what is. And that feels really resonant with what's going on with Pisces. Fall in love with right where you are. Know that it's all working out for you. It's all opening up for you. Continue your creative endeavors, make your music, do your creative projects. Fall in love with what's right in front of you, and you will see the expansion and the growth that comes from that. So this is just, and I mean, even this, this flower here, it's like, it reminds me of a pinwheel.
It's moving. It feels like it's moving.
Yes, it does. It does. And it's like, when you look at it in one way, you see this thing, but then it's fluid. It starts to go, and then you see something else, and it creates something different. And that's where they are right now.
Interesting.
It's so cool. It's so great. Yeah.
It's almost like they're going to allow the momentum of their creativity to drive the cart now. They're going to follow the momentum of their own higher self and allow that to be the source choice rather than the Capricorn choice, And that's where their abundance is. Look at that card. I mean, that is super abundant energy.
It is. It totally is. It's to me, this feels magical. It feels like there's so
Yeah.
much potential in this card.
Yes, and the Pisces have that connection to the magic world. They really do. They have it. It's an open portal to them.
Digging it. Totally digging it. Totally digging it. So, I was feeling, I can feel the intensity of this eclipse season, but at the same time, as always, Madelaine, you were able to share the wisdom of it truthfully. I mean, it's not like you said, oh, this is going to be rainbows and unicorns all day long. You shared that there are challenges, but with the challenge comes these beautiful gifts. And I feel that the flowers, the essence of those flowers and the magic and the wisdom that the plant world offers us, it is a remedy. It is a gift. It is a place of solace for us and support as we embark on these coming weeks and months, because we got to remember too, eclipse season is not just, it's a season, I think, I believe it runs through October, but we're going to be feeling it for a while. I mean, we're still acclimating to what happened last year. It's big. It's big stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everybody's lives are changing. I mean, that's the one thing we can all agree on, that things change. That's finding two human beings that agree on everything, I think, is impossible, except for that we can all agree that the life is about changing. And this is when the changes happen. And I'm excited for it personally, because fire signs like change. The fixed signs are nervous, but I feel this. It's that feeling of things not being stable. Where do you put your feet? Where is the solid ground? Where is that? But it's going to appear. And I personally think this is a great eclipse. I'm excited for it, hands down. I love what it's doing I love where humanity is going. I know that there's a lot of negativity around the way the world is going, but I honestly, really, my experience from all these eclipses and from people that I'm meeting and working with and interacting with, the world is really getting better and brighter, and more people are opening up their minds, and people are more interested in like connecting with sort of heart connecting rather than ego connecting. I think the world is just becoming better in my experience. It might just be me because I'm feeling happier, but I think in general, the world is waking up, and I think people are waking up, and I really like the way that is, because people are more compassionate and nicer to each other, and we're shifting into a better world. I really believe that.
I agree with you 1,000%. And I feel similarly to you that people are more willing to be more heart forward and heart centered. And I also agree with you that you see what it is that you choose to see. You see where you are vibrating frequentially. And so if you are coming to a situation, a place, an experience, a person with this very open heart energy, you're not always going to receive that back, but you're likely going to receive something along those lines back, because there's studies that show that we shift our resonance to whatever is there. And so with somebody in a grumpy mood can change the resonance of a room, or somebody with a really great mood can change the resonance of a room. So it's where do you want to be? Who do you want to be hanging around with, the grumpy person or the happy-go-lucky person? Can you be that person? Then you'll start to find that more people like you show up. So it's, I don't know, pretty simple.
I mean, this is the time to raise vibrations, because the new earth is higher vibrational. The Aquarius energy is very high vibes. I know it sounds really corny, but the kumbaya, we're coming into the kumbaya era. We're all going to be singing kumbaya to each other. I know.
Maybe we'll find a different song. It has a bad rap. I said, maybe we'll find a different song, since that one has a bad rap.
Yeah, it does. Does it have a bad rap? Yeah, because it's kind of religious or something. Yeah, I think
people
the energy. The people singing in circles to each other and loving everybody and hugging and
I think it's from the 60s and the 70s, at least. We're similar in age, and I feel like that it's like this. There's a little bit of the flower child thing going on, but not too much. People don't want too much of that. Like they're not interested.
I think it's that flower period was really was like a message of what was coming ahead. But again, that was more of the hippie energy, whereas now I think it's evolved to something more more real than that in a way, not just a fashion decoration idea, you know.
Yeah.
It's really the new earth, you know, idea.
More people living their life in the day to day and still being part of the day to day from that frequency versus, you know, yes, you're going to have communities, maybe, you know, places where people gather and live in a specific way, but there's also going to be plenty of people that are living a rather different life, but being in that happy place and helping out their neighbor and being in community without living in a compound out in the middle of nowhere. You know, I think you can find the happy medium. You'll see more of that in like your quote unquote mainstream life. I don't know. That's just what I see in addition to. I think it's a combination of the two. But we'll see as time goes on. We shall see. So so if anyone's interested in setting up a session with Madelaine or myself, our information is below this video. We hope you enjoyed the Cosmic Chat. We enjoy bringing it to you. And we'll be back in 2 weeks with the follow-up eclipse energy with the full moon in, what is it in? Scorpio.
Yeah, well, I think it is.
Or is it in Libra?
It's the eclipse following right away there.
The lunar.
It is a lunar eclipse Scorpio at 14 degrees.
Yeah, big one. Another big one.
Yes. Well, thanks everybody for watching. And thanks, Amalia, for having me. And I had a lot of fun.
It was a good one. All right, everybody. Thank you again so much. We will see you back here in 2 weeks.
Yep. Namaste. Bye.